Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 broadcasting live on Channel Television Lagos. We'll take you back to Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, where Sheon Kimbalo is standing live to give us update on what exactly is happening at the moment. Sheon. I really do hope that something is not wrong with the phone lines today. We still must get back to you, Sheon, as soon as we can to tell us what exactly is happening at the Situation Room in Lokoja, Kogi State. We understand that voting has ended in almost all parts of that state. And we do hope as soon as we get to you, we should be able to get on to know what exactly is happening. We take you over to our Abuja studios, where we're now being joined live by Adeniji Adeyinka. He's a political scientist. Good to have you join us this evening on the News at 10. I understand you've been following happenings in Kogi State. This is one election that is first for so many people, specifically for the president, the INEC chairman and his team, and even the Inspector General of Police. What's your assessment so far?
Suleiman, it's been wonderful. Okay. All right. It's been wonderful. We could see that there's a departure from what election used to be in Kogi State. From history, if you look at Kogi State election has been violent over the years. Apart from that of last year was a little fair, and this year is far better than what has happened over the year. So if you look at today, there were a lot of commendation, even from the political class. I remember earlier in the day, there was an interview with the deputy governor, deputy to Audu, and he alluded to the fact that security outfits have done very well. The INEC has done very well. So the election so far has been peaceful. No violence so far has been recorded in the course of this election, and I want to give kudos to those stakeholders that are involved: the security apparatus, the INEC official. They've done so well. If you notice that from the report so far, we discovered that the election started as at when due, and because of that, people they got people's confidence, and you will see the people turn out en masse because they are sure of security. And because of the presence of security. If you look at the election so far, I think it's commendable. And if we can have it like this, I think it would be nice for us. But there's something I wanted to say at this point, that one of the factors that are actually responsible for this election, I think, to my mind, is that because of the staggered nature. And if we can have staggered election in Nigeria, honestly speaking, I think we will have a better election so far. If you look at Ekiti, not too long ago, it was far better than what it used to be the last election because it was staggered. And so we have suggested these times without number that if we can have staggered election in Nigeria, honestly speaking, we are going to have a better election in the process. So I think Kogi election is a wonderful one. And even now the result has been coming in, and we have not recorded any violence so far. And so I think we can do our election better in Nigeria. We can have a more robust and violent-free election in Nigeria if we can follow some of these principles, and it will help us a great deal. Back to you.
Adeyinka, we'll come back to you in a moment. You're still there live in Abuja, but let's quickly welcome Kole Abe. He's a public affairs analyst, and you too, you've been following this particular election for so many. They have, for Adeyinka specifically, he just gave them commendation, saying that it was fantastic. So far, how has it been for you?
From the report, it's clearly a well-managed electoral process. The day has been well managed. information coming out of Kogi State has been positive. People are actually going out to vote. The weather has been good. And looking at the voting queues, you find that the people are not agitated, despite the competitive nature of this particular election and deep cleavages in the local polity. Still, the process itself has been well managed, and that's a lot of credit to INEC.
If you look at it, some of them are quite familiar to the process. The incumbent Governor Wada and, of course, the former Governor Audu. Does this explain why you saw that non-agitation in the electorate, as if to say, well, we've seen them before, we know them, these are people well familiar with the people?
Yeah, I would have believed that if the turnout was abysmally low. From the reports we are receiving, especially in places like the state capital, the numbers are no different from what happened in the last 4 years. Now, if we think back to the last couple of weeks, looking at the electioneering, yes, there was a sense of that, of who is better. We just take anyone. Most of the campaigns were just saying the same thing. And it looked like the people of Kogi State were suddenly fed up. But from what we're seeing today, it doesn't look like that. So has the mood changed? Is there new optimism? Has the rhetoric in the polity generally changed? And the media has been kind to Kogi State too. There's been fair coverage, and there hasn't been a lot of negative campaigns.
Let's talk about the independence of the electoral umpire and as well as the executive non-interference into the affairs of INEC. Recall it was only yesterday that the activities of the last INEC headship came to the fore when the former president clocked 58. People had to say, wait a minute, President Goodluck Jonathan never interfered in the affairs of INEC. Are we seeing same in this election?
Well, from a cautious optimism, I would say yes. But in fairness to the polity, it's too early in the day. The only thing I would venture to say is that the quality of the leadership is pretty good. The man seems to have the skill sets for today, because when you go through his CVs, his experience in war, terrorism, and all of that, and his deep knowledge of history, you know, it brings all the requirements to the job. So I think the head of INEC understands what is going on even before and after the voting. So I think with that, and with the kind of president we have now, there's some independence shaping up for INEC.
Mr. Abbey, you hold on there. Let's quickly go to Abuja and to speak more with Adeyinka, who is still there alive. Adeyinka, if you look at it critically, for so many, they are trying to also look at one very important aspect of electioneering in the country. It has to do with logistics for the electoral umpire. How would you assess INEC in this particular election vis-a-vis past elections, specifically the last election we just held in the country?
If you look at the logistic, I think it's fair. I will score them fair. And in terms of logistic, this time around also, I think a lot more needs to be done about logistic in Nigeria election. If you listen earlier, you will see from the report that there was a problem with some of the machine that was used for election. So if you look at the card reader, so to speak, so some of the card reader were malfunctioning, and because of that, and it's not other way actually, because if you look at what happened in Rivers State, one of the problems on that election was that because some of the card reader were not working, some of the polling units election were discredited, they were discarded. because of that. I think we should, the INEC should try as much as possible to go to point of having 100% voters, the card reader, to function optimally. So if that is the case, I think it will reduce rates of violence. Thank God for the people that actually cooperated. Otherwise, it will have led to some, some security upheaval in Kogi State today. But kudos to the electorate, kudos to the security outfits, and also to the INEC. They tried, but I think a lot more still need to be done in terms of logistics.
Adeniji Adeyinka, political analyst, speaking with us live from Abuja on Kogi elections. Many thanks for speaking with us on the News at 10.
Thanks so much.
Back to you, Abe. You look at some other issues here that a lot of Nigerians would love to see. Don't forget that we have another elections coming this year, which is in Bayelsa State. He's already given them a sort of average mark, pass mark for INEC. What are those things that you would love to see INEC work on as we move towards another election, specifically the one in Bayelsa?
Voter education.
Voter education.
Voter education is number one. That's INEC. INEC also needs to be very transparent in the process, because this is going to be another contentious election, and they need, especially in that location. But since we're at Kogi now, INEC job is not over. I'm not even going to score them yet, but I'll score them high for independence. As somebody has said earlier tonight, the real work comes after the election, because in the last Kogi election, results were being announced even while collation was going on. And Kogi State has had a track record of malpractice and interference in the analysis. So the jury's out. We are still watching. We must keep our eyes open, and hopefully within the prescribed time, we should have the results. But yes, I think INEC is becoming very independent. They should carry on and talk to the people, because we, the people of Nigeria, must start winning elections. We must start winning. And when we start winning, the process will clean up.
Koyabe, public affairs analyst, good to have you on the News at 10. Still ahead on the News at 10, the World Bank warns states who are beneficiaries of her environment protection programs in the country against complacency. Stay with us.